Hey guys. Hey, so whoever just joined, welcome. ReelBlue Custom Rods live stream today. Thanks for joining me. Glad to see you made it. Hopefully we'll have some other people join, but in the meantime, I will go ahead and get started. Start talking about a few things. So today I'm going to work on a couple of different things on this rod that we were working on. Again, this is a hard water build, or it's a hard water blank, basically an ice fishing blank, but I'm making a squid jig rod out of that. So we're going to do a couple of different things today. I'm going to use some tape, or excuse me, I'm going to use some thread, glow-in-the-dark thread on a wrap on the guide here. And then I'm going to do a little bit of decorative stuff. Maybe you've seen it before, maybe you haven't, so hopefully a technique. Hopefully I'll show you a technique that maybe you haven't tried before, and hopefully you can try in the future. And so I'm just taking off this red thread from something else I was working on earlier. So for the glow-in-the-dark thread, I like to use the Calavarma. This is regular white Calavarma glow-in-the-dark thread. And the reason why I would like to use the white thread is when you're buying glow-in-the-dark thread, even though some of the colors look really cool in the daylight, they may not look so cool at nighttime. And what I mean by cool is they may not be as bright as you want them to be. And whoever just gave me that first like for this video, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So again, when you're selecting a glow-in-the-dark thread, you know, a lot of companies will have what it looks like at nighttime when it's doing its glow-in-the-dark thing, and make sure that the color option that you are picking, thank you for whoever just gave another second like, make sure you pick a color that's going to be as bright as you want it to be at nighttime. Why am I putting glow-in-the-dark thread on this squid jig rod? Because ideally, most of the time you're doing squid jigging at night, so that way, and the light is usually pointed down at the water to attract the squids, so that way you can see you know, where your rod is and just kind of how it's working. I mean, you're holding it in your hand anyways and watching it. I thought it'd be kind of a cool addition to it. So again, this is the Calavarma thread, glow-in-the-dark thread. And as I'm adding this to the wrapper, I wanted to just talk about this technique that I did here, the two different techniques actually that I did on this build when it came to the pigment work with the epoxy, right? Or really the pigment work. And it's hard to see when I'm doing the live stream because the video doesn't want to focus as well when you're doing the live stream for some reason. So if I bring it up and bring it closer, it's hard to see. But what I want to point out, thank you for whoever just gave me another like. What I want to point out is by doing the dry technique first on that white thread, so we laid down the white thread, then we came over and we used the black powder pigment dry, right? No adding it to your finish or anything. We just put the dry powder on there. Does the glow-in-the-dark thread go translucent? No, it does not. It's almost like an NCP thread. Some may go translucent, but I don't believe all of them do. So by doing the dry technique first and then coming over, oh, Fat Boy Angler, you're the one to give me the first like, thank you. So by doing the dry technique first and then laying a coat of finish and then doing a second coat, and that's when I started adding the wet pigment work, if you will, man, does it give depth and does it give different pattern, because the dry technique has these like lines that go from, that are from the thread, right? These up and down vertical thread lines, because I use that white NCP thread, so it gives it a different texture, a different look. Down deep and then up higher, you're getting this pigment work. And then now what I want to do is we're going to add this guide wrap, and then I'm going to do some other additional techniques to this for a decorative purpose. Maybe you've seen it before in the past, maybe you haven't, but hopefully it'll be something that you could try on your own. So I'm going to take this guide. Again, these are CRB laser hard water guides, or ice fishing guides, if you will. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this, I'm going to use some tape, and then I'm going to kind of make my mark where I want it to be at. I'm going to slide that down. So this red mark right here that I put on this blank is for me to know where the ring on this guide goes, or where I want it to go. And quite honestly, the other part is I just, by putting the heel of this guide on the edge of that thread and that finish, that will get me to that spot. So just give me a second. I'm going to do a little bit of quick hip pocket alignment here and make sure this guide is where I want it to be at, because it currently kind of is not. And so I don't need to be 100%, but I want to be close, because I don't want to move it around with my fingers too much once I get the thread on. I don't mind moving it around and making an adjustment, but I don't want to do it too much. All right, so I think, wow, that's too much there. So let me go back the other way really quick. Sorry about this, guys. All right, so I'll leave it there, and then I'll make any adjustments with the thread here a little bit later. And then what I like to do is take a piece of tape as my kind of my border buffer spot, and then I'm going to use this other piece of tape really as a straight edge, and then wrap this down. And then we're just going to use that again for a straight edge, and then that will come off. And then I want to get that, there we go. All right, so now I'm going to take my Calavarma glow-in-the-dark thread, and we're going to wrap this on this guide here. And I'm just going to kind of get this started, and we'll give it a little tug. All right, and then we'll come back. And then I want to use my burnishing tool. All right, and then we're going to come in with the razor blade. Well, let me loosen up my tension rod a little bit before that thing comes flying out of there. All right, so I'm going to take my razor blade, cut that piece of thread. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate this. And get this to a spot where I want it to be at. And what I will most likely do, it just depends, but what I will probably do, because I have finish underneath this guide foot, I will probably come back, and not for a technical or for a supporting reason, right? A technical supporting reason, but what I will probably do for a decorative reason is come back and do basically an overwrap on this. And I would only be doing this for a decorative reason. But I'm trying to get this started here. And just use my burnishing tool, pack that thread down. Oh, went over that a little bit. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and take this first piece of tape off. All right, and then we're just going to tighten this down. All right, and I'm going to go all the way down to one end here. And so let me know down in the comments block, have you guys ever used glow-in-the-dark thread before? Leave a note down in the comments block if you have or have not. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. And if you have, what did you think about it? How did it turn out for you? Did it give you the look that you were looking for? You think it was a mistake in using it? I'm interested to hear your comments. So, all right, I'm just going to pull this last piece of tape off. All right, and I'm just going to keep wrapping this down. All right, all the way down here to the end. Make sure I go all the way to the end on this. Oh, right about there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap back, basically doing an overwrap, right? Adjust my tension rods or my slide there. And I'm doing this, again, not for like an integrity or a technical perspective, not because I feel like I got to, you know, double overwrap it for strength or anything like that. I'm just double overwrapping it. One, two, because it's white, because, you know, without getting it packed too tight, I just want it to stay white. I don't want any of this black to bleed through at all from the pigment work or from the foot. So I want to wrap this with a couple wraps, and I'm also trying to, you know, just get more glow in the dark out of it, if you will. So I'm just making sure all these threads are wrapped neatly here. Wrap down. All right. Okay. And then, oh, back that off. Oh, back it off again. All right. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to rub that in. And what I'll do is I'll come back. There's something else that I'm going to do this wrap, but I'll have to do that in the next episode. I'll show you guys what that technique will be. But I'm going to wrap this down, lock it in place, and then we'll get on to the second step. And then after I do this second step today, I'm going to lay a coat of finish on this and then come back and then do the next thing on that overwrap that I'm kind of referring to. You guys can see what that'll look like. All right, so and pull that tight, and then that luminous thread or glow in the dark thread likes to break a little bit. Pretty soft stuff. All right, so I'm going to leave that like that. I'm going to take off that piece of tape, and then now I'm going to do something different to this build. And so I have that on there, and I'll come back and do some other stuff. Wow, I got a couple messages that popped up. I have something glowing pigment. I'm going to, it's like two, Andrew, it's like two comments popped up at the same time, man, so I couldn't read what you had in there. So what I'm going to do, again, to give this another layer of complexity, another layer of depth, if you will, I'm going to move this. All right, so to just take this build, I guess, to the next level a little bit, I am going to do a couple of different things. So I know I'm rubbing my finger here because I know I have just a little bubble that I didn't get out that popped out a little bit. I must have got, excuse me, I must have got it. So to take this to the next level, we're going to use this high-speed piece of kit right here. And what I want to do is I'm going to add some black. As you guys can see, so this is black leaf, like gold leaf, right? And so I'm going to pull this out and set this on here. This stuff will move around quite a bit. You just kind of blow on it and it will go everywhere. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to take a whole piece. I'm not going to take some maize, put down maize, right, or glue or adhesive, if you will, and lay down a whole piece or a bunch of little pieces. I have found when you are working with different kinds of, when you're working with different foils, right, like different colors or different leaf, you can get a little creative like this pink one here, do some different things, and you don't have to lay down maize or adhesive to get that to stick. And so we're going to kind of do the same thing here. And you can get funky, you can be creative. I'm just going to go with, I think, just black. I do have some silver, but I don't know if I want to use silver gold leaf on here. I think I just want to use this black. So what I'm going to do, break it off a little bit. And then, as you can see, as I touch it with my fingers, it wants to break, right? Which I'm good with for right now, because that's kind of the thing, what I'm trying to achieve here. And so also realize that the bottom of the black is kind of blue. So you can see it's kind of blue there, and then when I flip it over, it's black. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to find some spots where, not where there's black pigment here, but I want to find some spots that may still have some predominantly white spots left, and look at ways to add that in there. And I'm just going around with my finger. I don't want to cover up any cool looking designs, but I'm just going in here and laying down that foil with my finger with the pieces that I just kind of pulled off. And you can come up with kind of a rhyme or reason. You can kind of break these off and have like a certain pattern layout if that's what you're going for. Or you can do what I'm doing, and I'm just kind of spacing them out just to give it a little bit of character. And then I'll just come in here, oh, like that piece there, if I can keep that whole long piece. So you can kind of lay that out if you like, however you like to do it. And just be creative and just lay those down. And then a little piece maybe, like that. And again, not concentrating them all in one area, but trying to kind of spread the wealth a little bit. And that's just going to give it and a little bit more depth. And I will tell you, it can be challenging working with some of these small pieces. But of course, there's things like tweezers that you can use to make it a little bit easier on yourself. And of course, that would be a lot easier for me today, but I'm okay with not using tweezers. And I'm not using a lot of this, but I'm just going around finding spots that I think that this would look cool in. And then I'm just kind of tapping that down with my finger, making it flat, right? And then, you know, step back, kind of look at it. Oh, okay, like right here where the silver comes in, I got a big piece there. You know, I got some epoxy that's there. Maybe I'll come in right here with this spot and provide you know, a piece. Right there's a spot. Yeah, I think I want to go right here maybe. Just kind of straight line with that a little bit. And then again, another piece here. And, you know, you can just, I know I keep saying it, man. You guys can just be as creative as you want, man. There's no right answer. You know what I mean? The look that you come up with is the look that you come up with. And the great thing about it is it's how you want it to do it. And if you're in the process of, maybe you're making a few of the exact same style of rod with kind of the exact same look, when you get in here into using pigments and some foil like this, you're never going to create the same look twice. So even though the rods can be very similar, they're going to have a completely different look. So not two rods look alike. And again, even though they're very similar, they're still custom and you know, one of a kind, unique looks that you've made. So I come down here, put a piece, and then maybe right there. See if that'll stick. Yep. And then now I'm just kind of, I'm not going to do too much more, I don't think. I'm just looking for a couple spots to drop some foil. That'll probably look pretty cool like that. All right, got some little break off pieces. And so that's kind of how it's coming out. I'm just going to look and see if there is another spot that I want to add something. Just looking around where you can see a couple parts broke off. And I see I have kind of a long span, maybe right here. So right there, I think I'm going to put a piece. Break off what I have. Again, turn the rod, look, okay. All right. And again, that just giving us another way to get some a unique look, and just provide, you know, another level of depth to this rod and complexity and uniqueness. And then, you know, once you're satisfied, what I like to do is I like to just let it set just a little bit, you know, half a day or so, a few hours or so, but I like to let it set a little bit, and then I'll come back and put the finish on there. And when I put the finish on, I'll just kind of be light with the brush, put that finish on top, and it'll go right over your foil or right over your leaf, and it'll stay right on there, and you'll be good to go. And so I'm just taking a look around again a couple last times here to see if there's something I want to add. And I think this looks pretty good. I think it's got some good character to it. I think that foil is going to give it a different look. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to have too much and take away from the pigment work, because up close, when you look at this dry pigment technique and this wet pigment technique, it has a lot to offer. And I hope you can see that, or at least I think you guys can see that here in the video. Like right here, you can see these straight vertical lines from the dry technique. And then when you use the wet technique of the finish, it's, you know, back and forth or up or linear or horizontal, if you will. So, yeah. So that's what I really wanted to do today. I wanted to show you guys, again, we used the Calavarma Luminous thread, up here. I double overwrapped on that one guide. I'll get that lined up, make sure it's good to go. And then we just laid down some of this black gold leaf on top of that pigment work. And that black leaf on top of that pigment work, and see how it'll come out and work. And then what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead let this set for a few hours off to the side. I just let that leaf kind of, you know, attach itself, if you will, to that finish that was already laid down there. And then I'll come back over, lay some finish on top of that. And then what I think I will do, here in another week or so, we'll come back live, maybe next Monday, and I will do a live one, and I'll come back and show you the other technique that I want to do on top of this double overwrap guide here. Once I have the first coat of finish, there's one other thing I want to do and show you before I start going out the rest of the way. And then all I got to really do is put the other 4 guides on this nice little blanket, and it'll be ready for either ice fishing, or in the case that I'm using it for, that'll be selling it as a squid jig rod. So, hey, I appreciate you guys for joining the live stream today. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys got a lot out of the value, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed seeing this type of material. And be sure to turn on notifications. That way you guys are notified every time I release a new video, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So until next time, guys, I hope you got something out of the video. Make sure you guys watch this next video here, and take care, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.